Hello, this is our preview video on graphing integers on a number line. And we're going to actually use a number line for not only graphing but comparing integers and for adding integers. And what I found is that a lot of times my students are having problems with the rules because they don't have a really clear idea of how the positive and negative numbers work on a number line and what they actually mean. And I'm going to use a football graphic as an example because most of my students do have some experience with understanding positive yardage versus negative yardage. So I'm going to look at that first. So I've got my number line sort of imposed on top of the football graphic, and I'm going to say that my 50-yard line here is the 0. And it doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle, but it just gives me a lot of room for using this. So I'm going to put it right in the middle on the 50-yard line, and I'm going to say this is my line of scrimmage. Okay, and I'm going to say that my team is going to be traveling to, and I'm going to say red versus green or red versus yellow, the red side. So this is the side that my team is trying to get to score a touchdown, whereas the other team is trying to get to the yellow side. So there we go. So let's say on a play that my team's running back gets the ball and then makes a gain of 15 yards. That would be a positive 15. So what that would mean is from the line of scrimmage, he would travel 15 yards to the right because for me, that's in the positive direction, the direction that my player needs to go to make a touchdown. Whereas if he had gotten 15 yards the other direction, that would be a loss or negative because it was behind our line of scrimmage. So if we look at the way this is laid out, each line represents 5 yards. So from my line of scrimmage, he went 5, 10, 15. So this would be the 5, the 10, and the 15. So over to here, he has now made a gain of 15 yards. Whereas let's say instead of that happening, the quarterback dropped back to make a pass and then had to scramble and had to run back even farther and then got sacked for a loss of 15 yards. Well, so then that means he went to the negative side, but it's still 15. He still went 5, 10, 15. So he still went 15 yards, but since he went in this other direction, we call it a loss or negative 15 yards. So really, it's all about the direction that the person is going. And the same is true when we think about, say, altitude versus depth. If you don't want to use a football example, if a bird is flying 20 feet up in the air, the bird is at a positive altitude of 20. Whereas if a fish is swimming 20 feet below sea level in the water, he is at a negative depth of negative 20 because altitude and depth is positive or negative versus whether you're going up or you're going down for sea level or ground level. So if you're going up from the ground or up from the water, you're at a positive altitude. But if you're going down into the water or say digging down into the ground, that would be a negative depth. But it's all really about just direction, up versus down, just like on a football field, going and getting a gain because you're going towards the football, the goalpost that you want to make a touchdown on versus a loss when you end up going the other direction. So now I'm going to look at example 2 just on a basic number line. And I'm going to put my 0, and this time instead of locating my 0 right in the middle, I'm going to show you because you don't have to do that. You can locate the 0 wherever you want. I'm just going to locate it over here. And again, you can think of this as say my line of scrimmage if you want. This is where my 0 is. So as I go to the right side, that's the positive side. So I'm going to go positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, positive 4, positive 5. Also notice as you go to the right, the numbers are getting bigger. As we go to the left side, that's the negative side. And notice how these have opposites. Right is positive, left is the opposite, so left is negative. Okay, also right is getting bigger, left is the opposite, so that means the numbers are getting smaller. So if I go here from the 0, that's -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10, -11, -12, -13, -14, and finally -15. So if I'm going to highlight my two numbers, I've got -5 and I've got -12. And really all that means is how far away are they from the 0? Because -5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps away. But because it's to the negative sign, we say it's a -5. -12 was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 jumps away. But once again, it's to the left, so we say it's -12. So really, a number is just how far away it is from a 0. You would expect like 4, this +4 over here, would be 4 jumps away. 1, 2, 3, 4. But since it's a +4, that means it's 4 to the right. Whereas if I'm talking about a -4, 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, it's still 4 jumps away, but we say a -4 because we went to the left.